What's up YouTube, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you a review of the Kith and New Balance 580 in this Malibu colorway. Today's video is sponsored by Capsule. Capsule is a brand new product on the market which aims to preserve your sneakers and extend their lives by up to 2 times. So they provide a way to preserve your sneakers while in storage. It's a very simple process. They offer these UV protective pods where you put your shoes into, you zip it up, and then you push in their secret sauce, which comes in the form of a cartridge, which not only pushes out the bad air containing the dirt and the oxygen, but it pushes in the preservative, which is the key to extending the life of your sneakers. So this is best used, in my opinion, for shoes that you wear more sparingly, maybe those grail type sneakers that you wear a couple times a year, and then the rest of the time they're literally just sitting on a shelf in a shoebox. And recently they introduced Capsule Club, which is a subscription-based service where they give you all the tools and everything you need, but on a monthly basis for a discounted price. So I've linked their social media, their website, all of that good stuff down below. So check them out, do your own research, see if it's something that fits your needs. And if it is, be sure to tell them that I sent you. This is the latest collaboration between Ronnie Flagg's Kith label with New Balance. Releasing to celebrate Kith opening their latest flagship location in Malibu in California, they released 2 limited edition New Balance models, this one the 580 along with the RC 1300. So both pairs dropped on July 4th, and this pair retailed for a price of $135 US, which is pretty affordable when you compare it to your typical New Balance sneakers, which oftentimes are made in the US or UK, and they command a much higher price point. And the style code for this shoe is MT580KB. So the New Balance 580, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's not the most popular model in the brand's portfolio. However, there definitely is a cult following for this model, and while it's not necessarily a model that I absolutely love, I do own a couple of pairs of the 580 in my collection, and I gotta say, while it does have a pretty chunky appearance to it, I think it's still a pretty well designed silhouette. So diving right into the details of this shoe, on the toe box you can see this is covered in this cream colored canvas, which is a nice change compared to your typical mesh or leathers. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have a darker gray colored suede, and this is a genuine suede. And then covering the mid panel of the shoe, we have this lighter gray suede, and we have these medium gray TPU eyelets at the very top. And then stitched on the mid panel, we have the New Balance N logo. This is constructed out of a tan colored leather, which again is a genuine leather. Beneath this, we have a darker cut of suede, and this covers the bottom of the back half of the sneaker. Above this, we have another TPU layer, which gives you additional structure and support around this back end of the sneaker. And then around the ankle collar area, we have more canvas. And then the top of the heel, this is covered in more of that same leather that we saw on the New Balance N logo. And then we have New Balance branding debossed across. For the laces, so my pair only came with one lace option, which was kind of a surprise to me, and they're a flat style lace done in this cream color. Underneath this, the tongue is crafted using genuine suede, and it's pretty decently padded. And then on the top of the tongue, we have this oval cutout of leather, and we have 580 and New Balance branding. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in this dark grayish blue colored liner. And then for the insoles, nothing too special here. This is just your typical foam lined New Balance insole, and we have New Balance running branding pressed onto the heel. So the upper of the New Balance 580 sits atop this super chunky midsole, which is crafted using a mix of New Balance's C-Cap technology and Absorb. So C-Cap is a compression molded EVA foam, and the 580 is probably most known for the use of New Balance's roll bar technology. So this is visible on the lateral and medial heels, and this is basically a TPU post, which gives the shoe a lot of support, and it helps keep your foot locked in and stable, especially for those that overpronate. And then for the outsole, this is crafted using a mix of gray and white colored rubber. We have New Balance branding on the medial edge near the center, and then we have this cutaway on the heel, revealing that roll bar plate, which sits across the heel of the sneaker. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, so my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I opted to go a half size down to a size 9.5, and they fit me nicely in a snug way. So I feel like if you have a narrow, normal, or even a slightly wide foot, and you prefer more of a snug one-to-one fit, I'd recommend going a half size down from your actual measured foot size. But if you have a really wide foot, I'd recommend just sticking true to size instead, because I can feel a little bit of pressure around this pinky toe area right here on the side. So if your feet are any wider than mine, then again, go true to size. To give you guys a point of comparison, I also go a half size down to a 9.5 in a lot of made in USA New Balance sneakers like the 992, 993, 990 V3, V4, V5, and V6, whereas I go true to size or size 10 in a lot of made in Asia models like the 2002R, 1906R, 860 V2, and a lot of the made in UK models like the 1500 and the 991. Moving on to the comfort of this shoe, so overall it's a decently comfortable sneaker, especially for the price point that you're paying. Is it as comfortable as a 993 or the 990 series? Definitely not. But there is some level of plushness underfoot. It's more noticeable underneath the heel, obviously because of how stacked this midsole is. But generally speaking, there's a decent amount of step-in comfort, and it's going to be fine for a casual use sneaker. One thing I did notice though is that the drop between the heel to the forefoot, it's a little bit more aggressive than I typically prefer. So while it's not a deal breaker, it's something to keep in mind if you really don't like your heels to be a bit more elevated than the forefoot. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship on this shoe, so this is where I think this pair really shined. So the materials that they opted to put on this shoe, it really gives this pair a bit more of a sophisticated, almost bougie vibe to it, which I guess makes sense considering it was meant to celebrate the opening of the Malibu location. So I love the use of the canvas along with a bunch of the genuine suedes and leathers on this shoe. So even though this is a made in Asia New Balance pair, I think you actually get good materials, especially again for the price that you're paying. And the overall build of the shoe I thought was pretty much perfect. Other than some minor glue stains along the midsole area, I thought the paint job was good, the panels were consistent between my left and right feet, and I really had no complaints about this shoe once I got them in hand. So with all of that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. All in all, this is a very solid addition to my New Balance collection, and it's a colorway that I think is very sophisticated and very tasteful, while being enough of a departure from just being a typical sail or cream colored sneaker. I really think the material choices helped in that regard, and yes, I do admit getting these in hand, they're not as warm and cream toned as the product images suggested. That Kith filter is a dangerous thing, so I think this is a pair you really need to see in real life to get a true representation of what these look like. But for me, I'm a fan of this pair. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this Kith and New Balance 580 in the Malibu colorway? Between this and the RC1300, which I think is criminally underrated, which of the two models do you guys prefer? And were you lucky enough to grab these for retail? Did you take an L and pay resale for these? Or it's just not your thing and you pass on them altogether? As usual though, if you guys enjoy this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, check me out on X at sean.go spelled out, and visit my website as well at seango.ca. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review and hopefully it helped you in some way, and I'll catch all of you in my next video.